cool
you.
because that was the intro because it is
Whoa!
streaming at that second.
Whoa!
Little behind the scenes for the people out there who are probably not going to be on there because I did a real crap job about marketing this week. My bad. But people watch later on, which is also wonderful. So hello to everybody who might be new and might have never watched Let's Figure Out episode before. I am Lee. I am here with Coffee Vectors, who is this wonderful circle.
Whoa, circles.
And Let's Figure It Out started as basically just a Twitch stream where I just cried in public while I tried to figure out AI tools, and it was great.
That sounds like a band, Cry in Public.
Cry in Public should be a band.
Yeah, that'll be our AI band when we make one. Oh my God, are we coming up with ideas?
We're already coming up with ideas. We should make an AI band.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I could have little things because I was asking you about that earlier. Okay, well anyway, we'll get into it in a second.
Yeah.
And it has now morphed into the project version of Let's Figure It Out, where we are at a point where we have so many tools and we all kind of know how to use them already. I mean, a lot of people don't, and that's great too. If you have any questions, you can obviously jump on and ask. And now it's more about, well, how do we use these tools in the world to make projects and to make things that people want to use and that can be useful in our day and age. So that's what we've been doing. But this week, I think what we're probably going to do is kind of do more of like a little bit of a hang and a chat because, well, let's just be honest. I was sick. Coffee was busy doing some,
just
working.
Video deadlines and stuff.
Video deadlines. And we were between project ideas and we didn't have time to come up with one. And so much crap hit the fan lately. This last week, I feel like has been, I got sick. I binged The Walking Dead for 4 days, which.
Whoa, what season?
All of the, I've never watched it before.
Whoa, from season 1.
No, so from season 1, I've been through season 4. I binged like a season a day. I mean, I wasn't doing anything else. I was feeling like crap, so I was just in bed watching it. Yeah. But I'm not sure what's the best.
Well, you got to meet Daryl, and so.
Thank you, because he's the actual like he's the reason, right? Like,
I think he's like a fan favorite. Yeah,
I think he's like the reason that show exists, and I had to look up to see if he lived, which I guess he did, because now I guess he has his own thing, because I was like, the minute he dies, I'm probably not gonna keep watching.
Yeah, and his thing is like in Paris or Europe or something. I don't know how he got there.
I Googled it, and I was like, this show is gonna go.
Yeah, I guess he swam or something. I don't know.
Yeah, he swam to Paris. I don't know. Anyway, and what's really interesting? He's a photographer too. So he's like
the actor or the character?
The actor. No, Daryl.
Oh. The character. He's taking photos of the zombie apocalypse. He's using his AI art skills to document.
Yeah. He's clearing out like old gallery spaces and putting up work.
I met him once on a red carpet. I was just like, oh my God, you're alive. You're a real person.
Oh, you saw him? You met him on a
yeah, I took
is he a cool person or is he not?
Oh yeah. He took it. Well, I could be wrong, but I feel like people who are in these like more comic booky kind of spaces, and I would think Walking Dead's kind of like that. I feel like they tend to be friendlier.
Oh,
you know what I mean? Yeah, because it's kind of like, the audience is like, it's this wide fan base of like kids or like just like people who are kind of geeky. Well, it's weird.
Kids aren't watching it.
Yeah, well, when I say kids, I guess I mean teenagers. You know what I mean? Yeah. But I'm sure there's kids watching it too. Like what?
Yeah, probably. Who knows?
Yeah.
So anyway, that was my life, and then I came back to Twitter and it was like the whole world had changed. It was almost like I lived through an apocalyptic event and then came back and I was like, what happened? Because we had all the OpenAI stuff that happened. There was apparently like a 380 AI 3D boom, like an industrial revolution in a, or like a, what's the, oh God, I want to sound so smart right now. What's the archaeological?
Like a paradigm shift?
Gonna Google it. No. You talk about your, I'm gonna come back to this.
Yeah. Well, like a lot went on. I mean, it's kind of funny because it's really showing sort of how competition is driving a lot of stuff. You know, like one group drops their 3D stuff, and then the next group's like, "Hey, we forgot to tell you we were doing a 3D thing too."
Yeah. Cambrian explosion, by the way.
There you go. Those are the best explosions. The best explosions. I love it when it's Cambrian.
We've had a Cambrian explosion in
Well, and I think it was funny too, because like even when Elon announced the Grok, I was like, what is this? Like I didn't even really understand what it was.
I haven't played with it.
I don't think it's out for everybody, but
okay.
Like, yeah, but it was just like, you know, people trying to one up each other in AI, so that's been really interesting.
Yeah, that has been crazy. And and apparently Stability has a 3D thing coming out, so I had no idea what was happening. I left for a week and they were like, and now there's our 3D thing. And I was like, oh, cool.
Yeah, just all this stuff coming out of the woodwork.
Yeah, so all this crazy 3D stuff. Blockade had that like insane announcement. And then there's the Luma Labs, and there was like stuff that's been, I guess, on the back burner, maybe just in my sphere because I wasn't aware of it. Like, so some of the stuff that I was pseudo playing with right before I got sick, like that CSM thing, I guess has been around since maybe like July or something, but just has not been on my radar at all. So anyway, it was just crazy. There was a lot of stuff. And then the ChatGPT and the GPTs or whatever, which I'm not sure are as cool as everyone is pretending they are. And maybe all of this stuff isn't as cool as people are pretending they are, but yeah.
Well, you had mentioned Poe, and I didn't even know that they had a thing.
Yeah, Poe's been around forever, and you can make a bot there.
Yeah, well, how does that work? Is it just like is it sort of like custom instructions, or how does that work?
Yeah, so it's the same sort of thing where I think the difference that was with GPT, and maybe we should look into a little bit more because I was like looking at it right before I started work this morning. But
right.
I was super unimpressed until I saw a blog about it where a person was inputting some like backend data, so they were like able to with the GPT they were able to input like a PDF or something like that, so into the actual like training of the GPT or whatever. Which I don't think Poe can do. Maybe it can do now, but like 6 months ago or whatever it couldn't. But basically it's just like, and the thing is it already sort of existed on ChatGPT before too, because when they put in their thing, when they were, I don't remember if you remember that, where they like implemented a thing where they were like, you can put in like a prompt at the beginning of your like chats with GPT to like help it.
Yeah, the custom instructions, right?
Yeah, the custom instructions. So that's basically exactly what it is. It's just a custom prompt instruction so that the thing does more of, or like sort of, so you basically don't have to prompt that instruction every time that you do it. And they were calling it like a GPT, but it's like,
not do you use that a lot, the custom instructions, or ChatGPT? Oh, okay. Well, you know, because I use ChatGPT kind of a lot. And
I use it a lot. I just don't use the custom thing.
Well, the funny thing I did, and it's kind of dumb, but like because I saw someone else talking with their ChatGPT, and it sounded like they were talking to a person, like it was saying their name and asking them questions.
Oh.
And I was like, whoa, like what the hell is this is this GPT-7? Like what is this, you know?
Yeah.
And the guy was just like, oh, I just told it to say my name and to ask me questions. So that I did that as my custom instructions. So every once in a while, ChatGPT is like, "Hey, Coffee, what's going on?" And I'm like, "Whoa, what the hell is this?" It's like, it's kind of jarring when it uses your name, but that's how I use it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's interesting because it's a different like dynamic of how you can talk to it, you know?
Yeah. Well, there are some interesting aspects to it. There definitely are. Like, I don't know. I also asked this where I was like, I don't know if it's like worth paying for stuff like that. But then I realized that I'm also lazy enough that I probably would end up paying for it. Like in the marketplace or whatever. But I think it's interesting. I have like 100 bookmarked things in Twitter of stuff that happened this week that I was like, oh, that's interesting. I'd like to look at that. That's interesting. I'd like to look at that I haven't looked at that I thought maybe we could look at.
Yeah, we could just go through the long list of like everything that's been coming out.
Yeah. And then I also wanted to ask you,
right?
Because I started working at Splash and I have to come up with
Splash.
I know.
Well, an AI band sounds like a fun
I
project.
know, that makes me really excited. Actually, that would be a really fun thing. I don't know how we would do it. We would need to like how would you do it? Like, would you like create?
I mean, it would probably help if one of us had been in a band before. I don't know what your history is, but I have no band relationships.
I have no music or band experience or whatever. I mean, when I think of AI band, I think of like making the music, but then like it's like a fake, like basically it's like a bunch of avatars and somehow they're like playing and singing, or like you're doing like a music video for them or something.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess I guess the first thing, the way I would do it is probably come up with like a song first and then maybe make like a trailer, like a, you know, if you imagine like an Insta story of like the chorus or some 15-second clip instead of a whole music video is just like a starting point, you know, and kind of just play around with that. And it could be some mix of 3D or just straight up like, you know, disco diffusion or animate diff type of stuff.
It would probably be a 3D to animate diff, maybe. Because then you could like, you could put them on like a stage.
Yeah.
And like have like drone zoom ins and stuff, you know, as if a drone took it. I don't know.
Well, I've also seen I've also seen people using animate diff, but only as like face replacement. I don't know if you've seen that.
Oh, I have not seen that yet.
Yeah, really interesting. Yeah, it's kind of like I forget where I've seen it, but like yeah, like I've seen some girls on TikTok where it's their face is only like AI, but their body's still their body.
Interesting. So they're using it as like a filter.
Yeah, or I guess I was thinking of it as like an AI mask, but yeah, filter too. And so we could even play around with like, you know, just as an experiment, just to have someone like lip sync the song in their body and then just change their face out.
That's what I was going to ask is if you could, because you used some sort of lip sync thing for that movie that you made.
Yeah, it was it was mostly like a 3D thing. So that's where it kind of gets a little complicated. But if we took out 3D and went with like a live action like base where we maybe used open pose with the face and then just used like Roop.
So you're just gonna make me do a bunch of really stupid dance moves? No, how are we gonna
no. I think the interesting thing, because I feel like the future of a lot of what's going on with at least the AI community is collaborations, right? And I don't know. I feel like that's where all the fun is too, like meeting up with people and like doing something silly. And because there's some level of
we should just get Prompt Muse to do it.
Yeah. Well, you know, I think it'd be funny to like just act and then knowing your face is going to be different. I don't know, AI acting in a way, like it's a human body and you know, you're just changing whatever your face is. But that's just one idea. I mean, there's also like,
I mean, you could do that. Like I could do that, but then it wouldn't be a whole band. Or you're saying you could change my face.
I almost,
but then it would have the same body.
Well, I guess it would be, you know, if I'm thinking about like the Spider-Man cartoons that came out, the movies, maybe it could be mixed. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe one person is a live body with an AI face. Maybe someone's pure 3D.
I could be the main singer, and then the backup band could be 3D people.
Yeah, like your bass player could be Warp Diffusion, and they have that whole look to them. You just have to figure out how to mask them out. And then just have like all the different AI aesthetics as different people in the band, and it would be maybe complicated, or if it's a group project, maybe, our Disco Diffusion Animate Diff person is just the bass player. And they're like,
true. And they're just making their own little
yeah. And then throw it all into, mixed reality on a Quest 3 and have them on your table or something like that. It's a wild future coming. I don't know.
There's a wild future coming.
We just have to figure it out.
We just have to figure it out. Yeah.
Well, tell us a bit about Splash. Like, what's been going on?
I was just onboarding today. Like, you start a new job and you're like getting to the Slack channels and you're reading a bunch of stuff and none of it makes sense. And you're like, I don't know what I'm doing, but
yeah,
we'll figure it out. Yeah, it was really great. I started with them today. I'm very excited. For people who don't know who they are, I highly suggest going and checking them out. I sort of think of them as like the Midjourney of AI music at the moment. They probably, in my opinion, and I've said this before I was employed by them. You can look it up. I've said it on this stream.
It's on the record.
It's on the record. I think their stuff is like the best because of sort of the way that they're doing it. It comes out the best. But it's like, it's like MJ1, right? Where it all kind of looks the same. So it like all kind of sounds very similar. Which, obviously that'll grow as they continue working on it and stuff like that. But the quality is like super good. And it lets you do like vocals and stuff, which is fun.
Oh yeah, I really was impressed by the vocals, but yeah. I also was impressed that you could split it up. So yeah. I think that's another thing that I'm seeing more of is like people figuring out how to integrate with the other ecosystems in the space. Like because I was looking at the Blockade Lab stuff with the Gaussian splatting and like all this 3D stuff. I actually signed up for their Techno Wizard thing recently.
You did? See, I was wondering, and I was like, they said it's going to be in a month, so maybe I should wait.
Yeah, so I want to check out the, so I went and I checked out the Mesher, but I was really looking at their Gaussian splatting stuff, and I think there's extra steps that haven't been released yet, or at least I didn't, like I was trying to
what's
decipher.
Their Gaussian splatting stuff? Are you talking about that new like 3D, the Nerf thing? Oh, so they're using Gaussian splat to do that Nerf thing?
Oh, well, I actually don't, they have a post with Gaussian splatting, so I assume it's related to that. They called it a Nerf. Technically, it's a Nerf, but let's just say it's Gaussian splatting for now. But yeah, I guess I was referring to that post where they had water in it and they went underwater. Yeah. And so I was just like, how the hell did they do this? Like, what does this have to do with the thing? So I signed up and I didn't get too much of a too much of a chance to play with it, but I was pulling out the meshes but I think I'm kind of getting more interested in the skyboxes they can make in general, because I'm looking more into VR and stuff, and that's going to be useful. But yeah, like I signed up for the thing. I was trying to figure that out. Oh, but I was saying is one of their posts recently was connecting to Luma Labs, and they were just talking about, I hope we can connect more easily and streamline the connection to Luma Labs. And so when you have stuff like Splash, I think it's nice that they can split up the stems because it makes it easier to connect to other tools that, I don't know if Splash is building that type of stuff out, but if they're not.
No, it is really cool. Yeah. Because then you can just take the stems and you can put them in like whatever DAW or whatever that you're using, like as a musician and stuff. And then you can use like all of the stems is just like basic like loops. Because that's what it's all based on. It's like loops.
Yeah, and it's also like being able to customize your own workflow. Like maybe I only want AI for the very beginning, but I want everything else to be kind of manual, and
that's what I did for like the little Stable Audio contest that I did right before. They had like a Halloween contest, and I used like 2 things from Stable Audio, and then I used like one of the stems from a Splash and like put on top because it was like just like the stem was just like some bird song and like some like weird other like weird like ambient kind of like almost like Foley-esque kind of stuff that was like put on it out of just like this other song. And I was like, oh, I would just want that. And then I was able to just like take that and like put that in the thing the way that you would sample. I feel like I should be sharing my screen when we're talking about things like the blockade thing.
Oh yeah. You have anything up?
Yeah. For people who care. Where was the thing though? Oh no.
Well, they had their announcement for the 3D mesher, which was these two. Yeah, that thing. Yeah, and so there's a couple interesting things about it. Is like if it is a nerf, it seems like maybe I'm wrong, but it looks like there's potentially some collision going on. So there's this question of like, did they turn the nerf into a mesh? Like, how does that work?
Yeah, how does it exactly work? Like, how does it go underwater? Like, that's really weird. And how does the water have like a watery tone to it? My thing is like not sharing this very well at all.
Oh, well, I think people can look up Blockade Labs and sort of see it. But yeah, and I don't know what engine that's in, but whether it's Unity or Unreal or potentially something else, you could just put like a water plane and it'll kind of just do all the stuff on its own. But no, it just really shows that there's this potential future for like 3D assets. Actually, I can show kind of what I was messing around with.
Yeah, show what you're messing around with, because I'm really interested to see how it is connected with Luma.
Yeah,
so I'm not a techno. I signed up for their like I think maybe like their $20 a month thing or something.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna. I mean, in terms of the blockade stuff, I still have to like explore it and see what's sort of possible with what I want to do. But I just actually
understand. Yeah. Show me.
Where is this share button? Am I crazy? Okay, let me find this thing.
There's 2 dogs.
Oh yeah, they're little bears. Yeah, so first, I think the funny thing is I went, I was making the texted 3D stuff with Luma Labs before, but I didn't realize like I could click on refine and actually keep the textures, So I was just like, yeah,
right. I did the same thing with a different thing. I remember you telling me about that.
Yeah, exactly. No, it was your post that made me be like, oh, is that what refine means?
Yeah.
So I did a thing earlier with trying to bring them into VR chat, but the textures were blurry. And I was like, oh, I guess it's not there yet. But then I didn't realize like you could press refine and get something. So the only thing is I think it takes like 20 minutes to actually create those textures.
Right.
So you'll see it, in your preview mode, but then like you got to wait 20, 30 minutes before you get like a highly textured model. So I had a refined thing and I just put these 2 bears into Unreal Engine in their VR template. So I'll just play it. But like, so one thing I did, there's a slight difference between the 2 models. I was playing around with something called the normal map, which I don't think you're familiar with 3D and all that stuff.
I know what a normal map is. Yeah.
Oh, do you? Okay. So yeah, it's not too noticeable. Actually, what I'll say is I have to work on recording VR because it doesn't look like this in the VR headset.
In the VR, yeah, 100%.
Yeah, it looks like I'm recording from a camera, like on the left side of my head or something. So, but yeah, I just took the bears and I made a big and a small one, and I was just trying to see what it's like in Unreal Engine because the other time I was trying it out was in Unity. Yeah, and I was.
The textures are pretty good.
Yeah, they're pretty sharp, and here I had physics enabled on it, so it's kind of a whole thing to set up like actually grabbing them with those virtual hands. But with physics, I can kind of just hit it with the blocks because the blocks are in the template and they have physics already. So yeah, it's just me like hitting the bears and like throwing stupid stuff at them. But what I think is exciting is like I didn't model these bears and I didn't create the textures. It's just like text, and the idea that it's only going to get better from here. Like we're not that far, at least for VR, to just be like complete holodeck. Computer, make me a mansion filled with stone bears. And to
I
just
mean, I've
get like,
seen some people do it already, right? Like Claire built a room, I think, and some other person built a. I've seen a bunch of people building like full rooms just based on, oh no, uh, just based on
and it's just
stuff
looping out.
from the Luma Labs
Yeah, and
thing. I mean, it's
well,
like kind of muddy or whatever, but it's still pretty cool.
well, the other thing I've seen people do that I've yet to do is they've made avatars in Luma Labs, and I'm sure you could do it with CSM,
Yeah,
and they go into Mixamo and they auto rig it because they have a little system there,
yeah.
and yeah, and then so they
I
already
did
have
that a
like,
couple times, and you just make
oh,
them
did you?
dance.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay,
but I mean, like that's pretty much all you could do.
oh, okay, okay. I think the next step then is to take the avatar and connect it to like an Unreal Engine skeleton so that I can actually directly control it.
Yeah, but I think there's
And-
some auto rigging things that'll like auto rig in, so you don't have to make the skeleton in Unreal. Like it'll make it for you.
yeah, and it just gets to the earlier point I had about like integrating these tools and finding streamlined ways to like bring them all together.
Yeah.
Because Luma Labs is not going to get into the business of Unreal Engine. Like that would be like way too much, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and so yeah, just figuring out, well, and even Luma Labs has their plugin for the Gaussian splats into Unreal Engine. And so that integration is going to be like really important, I think, for all the AI players to kind of come together. But I'll tell you what, it's really funny to get into VR and just see these text to 3D models like bigger than you.
Yeah. That is
And you're just like,
that is so funny.
yeah, and
And
you're
it's
like,
like actually got like little fur on it and stuff.
yeah, you're just like, oh, I made this in like, 20 minutes. I just asked the
Yeah.
computer to make this giant bear.
Yeah. That's great.
Yeah, so yeah, I think that's kind of a longer term thing. I think I'm gonna try and spend a little more time with VR and mixed reality and kind of figure out where AI plays a role in that. Because getting the Quest 3 has been kind of eye-opening. Because it's on paper, I don't know how much you spend time in VR.
I mean, I do me a VR escape room all the time.
Oh, really?
I love me a VR escape room, but
I've never tried one. Okay.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I mean, there's the Pharaoh. I don't know. The Unity ones are really good.
But yeah, like I've also been working in VR more, which has been really interesting. Like I'm mostly doing video editing in them now.
Like video editing in VR?
Yeah, and the reason I started doing it was because I've just been going through a thing where I've been having a hard time focusing, and I guess because some of my video editing jobs are a bit grindy, and I was just like, but I'll go into VR and I'll just like have one of their virtual environments, and I'm pretty surprised how much I can focus. And I'm not saying that's for everyone, but
wait, but how do you video edit then?
well, so there is this one app called Immersed, and the way that works is it's basically your desktop as a monitor that you can control the size, and you can make 5 screens of whatever size you want. And so you can make them really big.
And then you're just like in a room you've created?
Not that I've created. There's immersed like rooms that are like set up as virtual space. So it's like a cafe, or you're on a spaceship, or one I really like is you're just in this hotel surrounded by like the Amazon. It's pretty cool. Yeah, and so you think, oh well, why would I want to do that? But I think for me at least, because I work from home, my theory is that I'm competing with all these conflicting like visual cues of being at home, like, oh, I should be lying down, and but when I'm transported,
it's the same reason some people like need to go to the office because
that's
need, like,
that's what
separation.
Yeah, that's what I've been doing. I'll go to coffee shops and just edit there because I can focus better. Because being at home, it's just like all these distractions of like, oh, I guess I'll just do this other. I'll watch The Walking Dead for 4 seasons. But it's interesting to go into a virtual space and it looks like an office and you can just kind of like work. But I think there's also a time aspect to it too, because like sometimes it'll be late at night and I'll feel like, oh, I got to get this work done, but I'm tired. I'll just hop into an office and it's noon in the day in VR.
Oh, that would screw me up though. Then I wouldn't be able to sleep.
Well, yeah, absolutely. But if you needed to get the work done because you had to,
I guess
like
so,
that's the thing. And you could flip it too, because sometimes I focus more when I feel like it's 3 a.m., but it's only like 4 p.m. And then I could just jump in and be like, oh, it's like 2 a.m. and everyone's sleeping in the VR headset. And so it's a lot to do with like the Quest 3 being like sharper resolution. Like I can read the font. It's something I can work with. The Quest 2, not so much. But
so it was like you couldn't even. I guess that makes sense. It is a little bit blurry.
Yeah, it's on paper. The Quest 3 is not that much different from the Quest 2, but like it's a lot of little things that come together. And when you do a side-by-side comparison, because I have a Quest 2, you hop in and out of a Quest 2 into the Quest 3 with the same app. And I was just like, how the hell was I using the Quest 2? This thing is like blurry as shit. But I didn't feel that way. I didn't feel that way when it was the only thing I had. And so I'm really excited now to see like the 4K stuff because it's a lot more immersive. And, even VR video, I was never really a big fan of that. Like, those 180-degree, like, because I'd always felt like, pixelated YouTube videos, even when it was like high resolution. But on the Quest 3, that stuff is just way sharper. And I'm really surprised like how much more immersive it is. In fact, I'm thinking of like maybe down the road getting a VR camera and like shooting some VR stuff.
What's a VR camera?
So there's this one camera made by Canon. I forget the name. I think it's called like an RS5, but it has this special lens that has dual fisheye lenses, and it just connects.
Okay. I do think I know that.
Yeah, and the stuff I've seen shot with it is pretty like I feel like I'm there, and I never felt that way with my older VR headsets. So it's almost like, oh, this technology works. I didn't even realize that.
It's like the cameras that automatically do. It's like they're like 360 cameras.
Yeah, well, the 360 cameras are one thing. The thing I'm talking about, it's like has two. It's one lens, but it divides into two lenses. So I don't know how exactly it works, but it creates stereoscopic vision, so you have depth.
Oh.
Yeah, and what's funny is like I've seen certain there's like videos online where it's just like a slideshow of VR pictures. So it's not like a video, it's just like a slideshow of like some guy at a museum like taking photos. And it's really surprising how it's like I feel like I'm at this museum. What the hell is this? This is like really wild. But we're probably not that far from text to that, and just say like, hey, you're here, and there it is. But yeah, that's something I'm looking more into. And then mixed reality is a whole other like crazy thing to experience. Especially when you have like a 3D character that's just like in your room and it looks pretty legit. It's kind of like it feels very Blade Runner.
Or like what's that other one? Ready Player One or whatever.
Yeah. It has that vibe to it.
Oh, man. That's so cool. I want to do that stuff. Well, cool. I love that. VR world using the Luma Lab stuff.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna try and make some like I'm gonna try and make some offices, like right now there's not a lot of night stuff. So I think that would be interesting.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Just have like
so how do you pull this stuff in from Luma? Like it's not connected. You just download the files and like you can put them into Unreal Engine.
Yeah. Like either Unity or Unreal Engine. Like so right now Unity's I think most people say it's better for VR because of different things, and I've never really used Unity, so I'm having to like figure that out, Yeah. Oh, we have Danny Matthew VR. That's cool. Yeah, it's pretty cool, man. It's pretty cool. But just trying to figure that all out, and I think having that intersection of like VR and AI is going to be really interesting. And getting out of just having like the 2D stuff.
You could build a whole room though with like the Luma stuff.
Basically. Yeah, I think that's one of the next things I'm going to try. Well, some people have already done that, but
yeah, probably.
I just want to like figure it out. A simple thing could just be like a little, museum. Have like a walkthrough portfolio of like the stuff you've made, and we can make a venue for our AI band when it all comes together.
I mean, I was thinking about it. I want a big stage. I want a
cry in public
stage, or like a small intimate space. That's really the main question.
We'll do both as a challenge.
Nice.
And then we'll have a karaoke contest or something.
That's what you gotta do. Yeah, karaoke contest. Well, no, because we got to make all of it with AI, all the songs.
Yeah, I mean, what do you think about where things are going with that whole side of AI with music?
I think it's getting better and better. I mean, like, I think the interesting thing is just audience. I don't think AI music really knows where it's at yet, or like what people don't really know what to do with it, because most of the people who are in AI aren't musicians, right? They're like content creators or just like visual artists. Or like in the film stuff. Everything's been so visual. And I think that's where they sort of started trending a little bit, but because people aren't necessarily like, I really want music, because they're just like visual artists or whatever, it's not that huge there. And then with musicians, obviously, it's like not that huge. Like there's a lot of resistance. So it's kind of, I don't know, it's like an interesting place right now where I don't think people really know what to do with it yet, other than like making like a lo-fi track for like their YouTube video or something. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
But I think that there is so much more that can be done creatively, especially for people who do understand. It's the same thing as all the other AI stuff. It's like people who come from backgrounds of this stuff. Like I came back from a visual background, like a Photoshop background, like visual arts. So like when Stable Diffusion, all that kind of stuff was like first starting out, or even like Disco Diffusion, it was like right in my alley because I knew how to like take that and then like take it into Photoshop and like upscale it and mash it and do all of the processes that I would have done with like other stuff, like, digital painting and all that kind of stuff, and like layer and iterate and all of that. It works in my workflow. Whereas like, so like people who have a knowledge of music, like the really cool, interesting things that they can now do if they started getting into it would be like really cool, because they could make stems and loops and like tracks and stuff, and then take all of that out and put it in their DAWs and like do layering and like all that kind of cool stuff. So I don't know, but then it's also nice that I guess you can sort of make like your own little things too.
Well, I don't even know what they were using for, because you have like AI Drake and stuff like that, and I don't even know what AI software they're using.
Right. Well, that's like voice.
The voice cloning.
Voice cloning, yeah, which is like a little bit different. That was something I kind of wanted to look into, though.
Yeah,
not to like voice clone a thing, but there are things that you can do, and I don't think they work very well yet. But there are things where you could like sing. It's like a upscaled, like what do you auto tune, right? Because it's like you could sing, but then your voice could be like a dude tenor. Like I could sing something, but then it could be like, it would come out as like a tenor man, you know what I mean, or something like that. Or I could sing something and it would sound like Grimes, like
right,
because she did something with her voice.
Yeah. Have you kept up with any of the other announcements from OpenAI that came out on their their dev. Like, was there any mention of like DALL-E 3 and stuff? Like, any updates there? They had a lot of stuff they had to say. So
I only saw people getting really excited about the Turbo and the GPT thing.
Well, one thing I think is interesting that they mentioned, and apparently a lot of other people are doing it, is they talked about this thing called the copyright shield. So I think it's them, it's Microsoft, it's Amazon, where it's just if you're part of their enterprise plan, if you get sued for copyright, they'll cover your legal fees.
They'll cover it. Yeah.
Yeah, and I have some like I'm partnering up with one friend to kind of figure out some business use cases, and we already have some clients that we're talking to, and that's something that we were kind of trying to figure out is just like what protections are there for copyright, and like figuring out that whole thing. And
with open AI and stuff.
Well, I think just AI in general, because I think a lot of it's kind of like
I think that's the interesting thing with music, right? Because I think people who are working in music are so hyper aware of copyright, because the copyright stuff in music is like insane, crazy. It's like it's always been that way. It's like really complicated. I shouldn't even talk about it because it's my knowledge on it is based on like a couple of YouTube videos I've watched. But yeah, it's like almost based on like if it just sounds the same, and then they can, and that's, you see so many times like people getting sued, like huge musicians, like it's just part of it. Like being sued is just like part of being in the music community. I think that they just have like a much more hyper awareness of like that kind of stuff. So the stuff that's being made is already being hyper aware of it, as opposed to like with the visual stuff where it's just like take whatever, everyone's like, don't touch music because
right.
It's like a scary place to like go be doing stuff without making sure that things are like really set up in stone, that it's like okay for you to use this, and it's like commercially viable and like stuff like that,
Yeah. Well, and so I was still trying to figure out some of the stuff that they announced. Like I know they're gonna update the cutoff date for the GPT-4 Turbo. So it's gonna be like 2023 now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And
what do you mean cutoff date?
Well, you know how when you talk to ChatGPT and you ask it something a little too recent, and it's like,
right.
cutoff date. Yeah. So now it's like April 2023.
23, yeah.
And I think that's one interesting thing. Like, I don't know if you kept up with like the XAI with Grok, but supposedly one of the things it's going to do is it's going to have real-time information from Twitter.
Yeah, that's what it's saying.
Yeah, so that'll be interesting to see how that actually.
To even want to participate in that, I don't know why.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I don't know.
Yeah, what's your thoughts on it?
I don't know.
Is it just like a vague feeling, or?
I kind of feel like just not excited about it, mainly because of like where it's coming from, and
right.
Also, it's just like, why? Like, why? Like, just they're doing fine, like Microsoft's just doing fine. Just let them do it. Like, why do you need to, like, why do I need another option? I don't want another option. I don't need another option. Like, this is fine. Why is it better? Just because it's like real time and it like talks to me like it, because like it's cool. Like, I don't know.
Is GPT the thing you mainly use when you kind of need that type of stuff?
Yeah, I just use GPT. I mean, there's also like Claude, there's already options. I'm just so tired. Like,
well,
don't want to.
Yeah.
I just don't care. Like, I don't want another thing that already exists. Just like everyone, just focus on what you're doing and make it better, and stop trying to like.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the thing It's like there's so many tools coming out, and it's like it's kind of hard to like. And I think that's probably why I'm kind of thinking I'm gonna try and do more VR stuff, because it's a way for me to kind of like narrow down my scope. Like I'm not gonna look into AI music that much, unless we do something. But like,
well, no, I mean that's a good thing about starting to do like what we were talking about, why we wanted to start this in the first place.
Oh, is like, actually,
there is too much, and like having people, it's interesting in one sense. AI is all about like being able to be like a one-man show, right? And that's kind of like what people are talking about. But in another sense, it still takes time to learn all this stuff, and like being able to collaborate and have people be more specified in certain areas is nice. Well, like I don't have to go learn Unreal Engine, because if I want to do a project that incorporates that, I can just be like, yo, Coffee, you want to like do a project that incorporates this, because I don't want to fucking learn Unreal Engine. Like I do, but at the same time I don't, because I'm tired.
Yeah. No, I totally understand it. I mean, I kind of felt a little bit that way about Unity. I was just like, oh man, I'm still learning Unreal. I don't want to like jump into Unity. But that said, did you want to check out the Hive 3 thing that
yeah. Let's check that out.
Yeah, I think that's a smart thing to look into. I only kind of saw it when it was being talked about in a space, the Friday space for the AI wrap-ups.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait. Which one? The Jeff's one or Heather's?
Heather's.
Yeah, because she's a like a, what do you call it? Affiliate or something for the Hive thing?
Oh yeah. I mean, it was really interesting because she had on some people that had already done some of the challenges, and they've even won some.
Oh, I missed it. I'm going to be on there this week, but
Yeah, no. So I think it's a really creative idea, even to kind of use contests and to engage the community, and to sort of figure out like what these relationships with brands could even be. Yeah. And I thought it was interesting that they have seasons. I was just like, oh, that's very Fortnite of them, to figure that stuff out.
Oh wait, they have one. They dropped one. Oh, they let you know what it is. Oh well, this is good. Maybe we could actually do it, Coffee. So I was like, we'll never be able to do it because they start the competition they don't announce the competition until Friday, and we don't meet. We only meet on Wednesdays, and I was like, we'll always be right in between. But they've done that. They did the next one.
Yeah, so I didn't look at their schedule. So what is it, Fridays?
No, they're not giving us the information. Fuck you guys. Like, come on. It's Friday through Tuesday.
So, I mean, if we wanted to enter something, we could just discuss on a Friday or Saturday, and like the Wednesday could just be an update of where we're at.
Yeah, we could just tell people what we did, I guess.
Yeah, it could be that.
They only give you 4 days, which I think is kind of crazy.
Right. The competition opens at 11:10.
Yeah, so and they don't give you the information.
Oh, you're just clicking on these things.
Yeah,
like they had Crumble Cookies
Stacks challenge. Yeah, so the last one was this one. It was the Crumble Cookies challenge. So let's take a look at it. It's in judging right now. Oh, and it doesn't give you the information. Well, fuck you guys.
That's gonna be the highlights.
I can't showcase this now. I don't know what to tell you. We can't talk about it. We can't do anything because there's no information.
There may be some a fact or something like that. I mean, this is what Let's Figure It Out is all about. Like,
no, I was looking at it this weekend, and it had the whole. This was filled with all the information about what the competition was and what they were looking for and what they were asking.
Well, these ones with the first place where the winners are announced. It shows all the submissions and stuff. Let's see.
It also doesn't show what the brief was. Come on, give me the brief.
Well, I guess we'll have to answer. We'll have to look
at the next screenshot one. It, I guess. Sorry, it's been a long day.
It's been a long day. You've been talking to people in Australia.
I've been talking to people in Australia. I'm losing my mind. It's so funny whenever you start a new job, and I don't know how you get past this. I mean, you must, because you're a contractor. Just like imposter syndrome, like every time you start working with like new people and just being like, why am I here?
Well,
I don't know if I can do this.
Well, I think at least in the AI space, I mean, this is so brand new. Like, who's not an imposter? You know,
it's true.
I mean, it would be different if you were going to work at like finance or like you're a lawyer, something that's been like around for hundreds of years. You know, but I feel like with AI, everyone's just like, I don't know, throw a dart at the wall and see what sticks.
Yeah, I know, 100%, right? I don't know. Let's do a contest. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm looking at the fact right now. So let me see. When is their next one?
It's this next one. It's this Blockbuster thing that's starting on Friday. Blockbuster Stacks Challenge, but it doesn't tell us anything about it. I guess that makes sense. They can't tell you because they don't want people to be able to prepare, but that doesn't make sense. Like, let people have a week.
Right. I guess they could at least have a sample, right, of like what one or maybe the last one looked like you're saying, instead of only having the.
It was cool. I mean, I'll say that they did a really good job. They had it was for an actual like social media campaign, innovative ad campaign. They had, it was a great brief. It was very specific. Obviously the brand had like come up with exactly what they wanted. It was like four ads, basic 4 Instagram ads. And they like each one, they had a very specific thing, like about their chocolate chip cookie or something, and what they kind of wanted it to look like. And, such and such. So I thought that was nice, and I thought it was run well, but you can't look at it now.
Yeah, this will be really.
And I can't judge past winners based on the brief, which makes me sad.
Right. Well, maybe you bring that up when you're in the space.
I will. I'm going to be like, Heather. No.
I have a checklist of grievances.
I have some things that I think. I want to be able to silently judge the winners of the competitions based on the brief, and I can't. It's a bummer.
Well, it's interesting that it's also, seems to have this social aspect of people liking stuff. So I wonder.
I don't know who's judging either. I mean, it must be the brand.
Yeah, I think there's some process in place between the community and the brand and sort of like official judges. But it's interesting seeing people sort of align in this direction. And I'm really curious if this does start really picking up with brands, like what this is going to look like. But I also think it's a big thing because if brands start using it, and you know what I mean, because like there is that fear about the whole copyright situation. And if you're using Firefly or
I don't know how they would like. I don't know how they would enforce this.
Yeah.
Either.
Yeah. Because it's interesting, like when it's more photorealistic.
There's no information.
Yeah. Or it's like a mix of tools.
Yeah. Like how can they enforce what the prompt is? I mean, I understand why they're doing it. I'm just saying I don't know how they could, if a brand is, worried about that. I don't know how they could,
right,
make sure that it was done that way.
Well, what's interesting is I had this use case recently for a client that wanted some AI stuff. But the thing is their packaging had like logos and text on it, and I just couldn't generate that. It was like too complicated. And so what it ended up being was like making the general thing and then just going back to good old Photoshop and having like an actual picture of the product. It's kind of like a canister. So that's kind of like a simpler use case. But we just ended up Photoshopping like the actual image of the logos and stuff like onto the AI base. So stuff like clothing and things like that's probably going to be easier. I don't know. I guess it depends if it's an actual piece of clothing that has to be very like, accurate on the AI side.
Yeah.
But like I had to train models on clothing and stuff, and that was pretty tough.
Yes, it's almost impossible to train models on like specific things like that. That can't have any variation, like a product or anything like that. I mean, they were working on that with the training stuff with Stability when I was working with them, and it was like you can't. It's like you can't. I don't know. I don't think it's there yet. Especially if I'm a brand of like makeup and like
right.
I have a lipstick, and that lipstick has a specific look, and like obviously all lipsticks look very similar, but mine looks like this. It has like a hexagonal base, and this part is silver and this part is this very specific red, because obviously the color of the makeup is very important when I'm like advertising it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, but you train and you can do a training on it. But it's not going to maintain the exact, it's just going to make another lipstick that like, it's going to look different. It's going to look a little bit different. It'll still look kind of like that. Like it might maintain some of the silver. It might maintain, like it might know that it's going to be red, but it's not going to be the same color red. And it's like, the base isn't going to be the exact same shape,
Yeah.
And like, if you have a product, like you can't like, it doesn't work. Like you can't, doesn't do it. And they're really like, I feel like a lot of people are really trying to pretend like it does, and it don't.
Right. So kind of like what we were coming to is realizing it, at least for now, it needs to be a mix of like the photography with Photoshop with AI.
Yeah.
And because I could imagine like if you took a photo of the lipstick from certain angles, you could probably throw that in as like a sloppy like Photoshop thing and then use ControlNet to potentially kind of like mess around with it.
Maybe, but then you'd be changing the product again.
Well, no, but you would still have the original that you could Photoshop back on. Like, I guess what I'm saying
Oh,
is
I get
pieces
what
of
you're
it.
saying. I get what you're saying.
Yeah. And so that kind of hybrid approach seems to be kind of a way. But that's something I'm actually trying to work out with someone right now who has some clients that have been interested in this stuff.
Yeah.
And I think with those issues still in play, it kind of gives a window of opportunity for people who do sort of still have traditional kind of skill sets, like just plain old Photoshop, to kind of come in and still have value in a place that might get very flooded with people using all these different tools.
Yeah. No, makes sense. I think what's interesting though is I think that what most people are interested in AI is like so that it's super easy for them, so that they don't have to do like what's the point of using the AI if I have to go do all the, I don't know, as a company maybe. I don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I think it's sort of like comparing it to the cost of a traditional photo shoot and like the ability to change stuff like later in case like you need variations. Yeah, so
like especially with like how Photoshop does it and stuff like that, where you can just sort of generative fill and these kind of things. It makes it a lot easier.
Yeah, I think one example would be something like almost like a flash advertisement for very specific times of the year. So like maybe you already have like a campaign, you train it on it, but then you can convert it to like a quick Christmas thing, or like, hey, it's Halloween, and then throw a bunch of pumpkins on it. And it may not be like the big campaign, but it's just those little hits for like when it's really timed properly, or if you're just shipping it to like very specific demographics. I don't know if like something happened and you want to like jump on like something, but yeah, just like micro changes. I see some place for it, but it's going to be a mixed environment, I think, for a while.
No, 100%.
Yeah, of old and new and figuring all this craziness out. But yeah, this comes out Friday, so I guess I'll remember to come in and just take a look at what these briefs look like. I wonder if you have to like sign up. I guess you have to sign up. I'll sign up now.
I don't know. I don't know if you would sign up. I looked at it before. Maybe I had signed up. I don't know. There was also the OpenAI Vision API. That looked interesting.
What's that?
I honestly have no idea. I just saw a bunch of Twitters about it.
Yeah, we'll look that up while I'm signing up for Hive.
It's this thing that it can.
Yeah, like the real time. I was gonna look into that too.
Yeah, actively recognize what's happening in real time. There was something where like this person did like a commentary of a League of Legends
where it's generating commentary for this League game. So basically what it's doing is that...
But I have no idea how you do it. I don't understand what it is.
Yeah, when I see stuff like this, my thought is more to, can it look at my screen while I'm trying to figure out a program? And can
That's exactly what I was gonna add. Or I was thinking like while I was watching The Walking Dead.
Yeah, what were you thinking about there?
Well, I really liked the intro, like the intro and the way,
right.
And I was like, oh, I really like one of these effects. And I was like, it'd be really cool if I could like point, I don't know if that would be allowed though, because of like copyright or something. But if I could just point like vision to it and be like, hey, I really like how did they do this effect?
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, one simple thing I think might be like, is there a name for this style? Is this called something?
Yeah, or something like that. And then you could like Google it later. But like I don't know anything about it, so I can't like I figure it out on my own, you know what I mean?
Well, it's funny because even with a lot of this 3D stuff, like if I could crack this, then what I would do is just, for example, like you were trying to figure out some stuff with Blender, and the GLB file, and like, why are the textures not here? If you could just screenshot that up, send it, and be like, hey, what's going on?
But it's supposed to just be able to see the screen in real time somehow.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, have it be real time instead of uploading it like how you might, which I've never actually done, but yeah, just having it see like your interface while you're trying to make something. And I think that's really useful for stuff like 3D, especially when the knowledge is already there. You just don't know how to access it. I know when I was making my movie for White Mirror, I was using a lot of ChatGPT for like Unreal Engine.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't even know how it knew what the interface was, because he would be like, "Oh, you want to press this button? It's on the left." I'm like, "How does it know it's on the left? Like, where did it gain this knowledge?"
Yeah.
And so like the idea of it being able to just point out stuff. I mean, I'm sure it'll accelerate. Let's figure it out. And we'll work on this AI co-host at some point. That's just like real time GPT.
Right? That would be a great one. I'm trying to read it. I'm trying to see if this is something.
Yeah, so it's what, OpenAI Vision?
Yeah.
Look into that too. You have to have access to GPT-4 Vision Preview. Well, maybe do we have that? That's one of the funny things about all this stuff coming out. It's like, do I even have access to this?
I know. How do I get access to it? I should. I'm pro, right? So I should just have access to stuff.
Yeah. Like I was watching some stuff with Matt Wolf, and he was just like constantly refreshing his ChatGPT. Like, what am I getting? So like, yeah, this looks like it's more on the code side, but that's cool still. Yeah. Just getting all these tools to play with.
So general about what is present in the images, while it understands the relationship between objects and images, it is not yet optimized to answer detailed questions about the location of certain objects in an image. For example, you can ask it what color a car is, or what some ideas for dinner might be based on what is in your fridge. But if you show it an image of a room and ask it where the chair is, it might not answer the question correctly.
Well, what's kind of interesting from a VR perspective? So So the funny thing about the Quest 3 is it has pass-through. And so you can kind of like see your space and have like VR stuff on top of it. And so something that's been happening that's been pretty silly is people have been going outside with their Quest 3s and like doing stuff. And so there's this one video of this guy, he went to Disney World with it on, and he was just like walking around like watching videos and stuff just to see if it would work. But one of the funny use cases, well, it's not funny, I guess it's actually kind of useful, is people have been cooking with it on. And the idea is like because it has hand tracking, you could have like dirty hands from like chicken or like whatever you're cooking, but you can still interact with the internet without like smudging stuff.
That's true.
And so there's this interesting thing where if you do have vision kind of going in a mixed reality thing, you can kind of like have this assistant talking about what you're seeing while you're like hands free, and moving around in the world. So I think that would be something I'd want to mess with and try to figure out how to get that into a Quest 3. Especially if you're like working on stuff.
Good luck. Awesome. That's like a very.
We have high hopes.
I mean, great. Shoot for the stars. You know what I mean? Like seriously, shoot for the stars. Yeah, that was something that was interesting that I guess I'll never learn.
Well, I'll be looking into it on my end, and if I figure anything out, I will report back with a streamlined version of it.
Awesome. They also came out with a text-to-speech model, I guess.
Of what, OpenAI?
Yeah.
What's new about it?
I don't know if it's new. Did they have one before?
I don't know. Well, I guess new relative to the stuff that's already out. In terms of like 11 Labs and things like that.
I don't know if it's any better. I guess we could try it right now.
Is it a demo OpenAI text to voice?
Do I need my OpenAI key in order to use it?
Text to speech OpenAI. Is this new though? I guess I don't know.
I don't know. Angry Penguins posted about it on the 6th. And look, Twitter's where I get my information. So if he's posting about it, it seems like it was new and it was right after Dev Day. So I just figured it was part of it.
Penguin, let me look that up.
But it looks like I need a key. Oh, this is a Gradio. Oh, okay, so I need my OpenAI key, which means I'd have to like log in to OpenAI. Do I even have a key? I mean, I should. Oh, right. So this is a whole thing. Text to speech, text generation, embeddings, fine tuning. I just want to go to like my OpenAI
world
about me. Oh, here we go. How do I find my key? I've never actually used this before.
Well, just be careful of doxing yourself. But
I know I'm not going to put it in there. I'm just trying to. I'm off on the other screen trying to find it.
Yeah, you go to OpenAI. .com and go to your account, and so it's kind of separate from just that stuff.
Oh, I go to the API part.
Yeah, so you log into OpenAI and you go to like oops, that's not.
Oh, API keys. Oh, I have 2. Why do I have 2?
Yeah, so usually once you make one, you sort of can't get access to what you had. Like they kind of hide it from you, so you usually have to like write it down somewhere.
They don't give me access, so I have to create a new one in order to get it.
Yeah, or I'll just delete one of my old keys and then just make a new one because I there's not many things that I'm like recurringly using.
Well, that's stupid. Why do they do that? Why don't they make it? Everyone's stupid today. What is wrong with me?
You're in a mood. You're in a mood.
I'm cranky. Okay, so what do we want it to say?
And Angry Penguins seem to have been making some reference to punctuation. So I don't know if it reads punctuation differently.
Mood. I'm cranky.
Oh, X this out.
I
gotta look for my API key.
Tell me a story about a puppy or something. I don't know if it's gonna work. I also don't think anyone's gonna be able to hear it because I have to do it by the tab.
Yeah, I have to solve a puzzle to make a new key. Hold on.
Oh, this happened fast.
Oh, did you make a voice?
You want to listen to it?
Yeah, let's see what's up.
Tell me a story about a puppy or something. I'm in a mood. I'm cranky. Tell me a story about a puppy or something.
I mean, is it better than 11 then?
Find out how.
Can you hear it? Could you hear it?
Yeah, I heard it. What did you type in to get there? OpenAI.
I just clicked on the thing off of Angry Penguins.
Could you potentially just copy paste that into the chat, the private chat?
I could. Woo-hoo. I mean, I'll copy paste it into the big chat if people want to use it, and I'll also put it in the private chat. I don't know if people can see the chat after the stream or not, but
I don't think so. Input text. Okay, there's different models. TT. Which one did you use? TTS1. There's an HD.
Yeah. I don't know what HD does.
Echo. Okay, let's see.
Also, am I spending money right now using my?
I'm in a mood. I'm cranky. Tell me a story about a puppy or something.
I mean, I don't know. I guess it's cool. Is it better? I don't know.
I'm gonna put a lot of craziness. I'll see what happens.
Yeah, you've got better, I guess, with this or not.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the point of this is.
I don't know. I guess I'm in a mood. I've been in a mood a little bit all week about the hype.
The hype?
Yeah.
In general or anything specific?
Yeah, in general, about people being like this, like, it's so crazy. And I'm like, is it really that? I mean, it's crazy. Like, yes, it's crazy that this can even exist. But in context to what like we have and what's being done and how like 1 billion people are doing it and it's been made, like, is it enough to say this is crazy when it's like, I think it needs to have like a much higher bar, like, you know, like this has to be like at least 10 steps better than what is already there being made by like 7 companies.
Yeah, no, that all makes sense. I think for me, I kind of just ignore the hype stuff because I just assume it has to be something I test to see if it's actually, because I imagine 1 out of 10 hype things is actually real hype, you know, well, not real hype, but real worth and real value. Yeah. And I kind of feel like the rest of it is just like, just trying to get clicks on stuff, you know, to kind of help the algorithm.
Yeah, no, 100% it is. But then I just got cranky about it because I was just like, it's not cool. It's really not that cool. It's kind of cool, but it's not that cool. It's kind of cool.
Yeah,
it's interesting and it's exciting and it's a step in the right direction.
Right.
But it's not like, you know, it's not changing the world.
Well, sometimes the hype is also about incremental stuff, you know, like it's a little
I love
better.
Incremental stuff. That's what I'm saying. Like, but that's what people should say. They should just be like, hey, this is a little better. Not like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
The world film is over. Like, everyone's out of a job because.
Well, something I see sometimes, it's like when it's people newer to the space, they're trying to like make their mark, you know, and they haven't. Yeah, and so some of the stuff is just like, I gotta be like super like extreme about everything I say about AI to kind of like cut my niche into the current ecosystem of AI reporting.
Just be authentic, y'all.
Yeah.
I mean, I also can't say anything. I get really excited about stuff sometimes, so. And I'm like, this is insane. And people are like, this has existed for like 2 years. And I'm like, oh, well.
Yeah. I guess I just learned to not really pay too much attention to it.
I do too. I don't know. Look.
Well,
I'm watching a lot of The Walking Dead. Okay.
That's why you're watching a lot of zombies eating people. And
it's
and
real
puts
serious, you know.
Yeah.
And it's real serious.
God. Yeah, well, you know,
for joking around.
Well, you'll have to binge watch something else before the stream, I guess.
I didn't watch it today.
Okay.
I almost did. I got up and I like looked at my dog and I was like, I could watch a couple of episodes before I start work, but I'm not going to.
What's funny is sometimes there are big things that come out, but they don't get press. You ever notice that? Like sometimes there's like pretty crazy research papers. I'm like, why is no one talking about this?
Papers and stuff don't get press because no one can really play with it yet. So it's like more of like a tease, maybe.
Yeah, or it's like a dependency on reading the headlines because sometimes the research papers aren't easy to understand what's actually going on in them.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, and sometimes I'll look into it and I'll be like, what? This is nuts. Like, or it's really impressive, but when you read it, it's like super complicated. Like something came out just yesterday about nerfs for like really high fidelity spaces in virtual reality.
Really?
Yeah, and it was like really impressive, but when you look into it, the thing they used to actually capture the nerf was this rig with 22 cameras.
Yeah.
And it cost over $100,000, and it was like terabytes of information.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh man, if only I had $150,000 and an engineer to like put this all together.
Well, that's the thing too, is I think a lot of the stuff that's going to be coming out now that like big companies are getting involved, like isn't the fun stuff that like the everyday person can use. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, you know, there's like a shift to B2B with some of these things, right? Like it's not. And it's funny because I feel like that's part of why I think having this stream is something that became more important to me, because it was just this realization like, man, the community's the only ones that can keep the community going. You know, it's not going to be it's not going to be a company that's going to make the community for us. It's going to have to be us in the trenches collaborating and finding fun stuff to do with each other. And hopefully we get paid once in a while. But you know, maybe once in a while. Yeah, maybe it's just an AI band that we make and just like, fuck it, we're gonna cry in public and it's gonna be good times. And
I kind of want to do this AI band thing. I mean, it doesn't make any sense and there's no like use case for it. Like, what would we do with it afterwards?
Well, you know what? I've been thinking a lot lately about there's stuff that you should do or that you know will lead to something, and then there's stuff that you just enjoy and you're curious about. And you're just like, I don't know if this will lead to anything, but I want to look into it now.
I do that second ladder more often than not. And sometimes I wonder if that's like good. I don't know. I guess it doesn't matter.
I've been leaning more in that direction lately. Because, you know, I think part of the framework I've had is that a lot of this stuff's really difficult to like build something bigger. And if you're doing the stuff you like, there's more energy there. Like I've been very energy focused lately. And I think that's why working in VR is something I cared about, because I'm like, I have more energy when I work in VR. But like, no, I think it's easy to get caught up in like the shoulds and money of like where things are going to go. But the funny thing is we don't know where the money's going to come from. Right.
You know,
like it's,
and you know, we could create the next NSYNC, like, and it's just a virtual version of
it. Could be Backstreet. Are you crazy? That could be us.
I mean, let's do it. I don't know.
Oh my God.
A small little
whatever. Well, I have some VR bears that we can use as props.
Fun.
fireworks come out of them. Yeah.
Yes. Fireworks for
it'll
sure.
be good times. I wonder. I mean,
I've created some worlds with Blockade. Their Skylabs or whatever. Yeah, I was messing with over the weekend. The thing that I don't understand about it, though, is when you import it, it doesn't have a floor.
A floor?
Yeah. So if you put anything in there, it's like floating in space. Like if I put a character in it.
Yeah. I think the way I was thinking about it is kind of like it's just like the outsides of windows or like the backdrop of actual geometry you've made. So it's kind of like a mix, at least for now.
For outside of windows, that makes sense. Yeah, because like look at this. So it's like if I put this
that's what you were. Okay. Yeah.
If I put this little character in here, they're not on the ground. They're like floating in space.
I have to say, like, while I do see what you're talking about, it also looks pretty cool.
I mean, it does look cool, but at the same time, it's like, I mean, maybe if I could get their little feet to like go down so they actually looked like they were.
I wish that was a cartoon. It looks interesting.
Look, he's doing a little dance, sort of. I tried to use that move thing. But
how's that? That app? I didn't look into it yet.
I mean, well, look for yourself.
Was that you? Are you moving like that? Or is that correct?
I mean, it dislocated my arms.
Oh, right. Well, that's one of your talents, the dislocation, I think.
I was like, I think I was kind of like doing this and then like trying to do like a slow motion, like power move or something. Like I was
doing
this, and it like I don't know why it like made me.
But it was just you videotaping yourself on your phone, right?
Yeah, it's just like my phone videotape.
Oh, okay.
Whatever. I'm sure, like probably if I had put more. I did a couple, and I'm sure there's probably like specific motions that maybe look like maybe if I did it on my toes, and his little feet would be down, and it would look like he was floating. And he could do like a little thing where he's floating. I mean, I don't know why.
From certain angles, it looks right.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like if you like sort of stick it, and then I guess you could just do. Well, you can't do a zoom though. But you could just do like a one shot of a character, kind of from like there or something.
Yeah. I don't know. I appreciate where your head is. With all this stuff. Because I even like that you made the background black and white like that.
Yeah, because it was cool because the character's black and white, but then I had to try to color him a little bit to make him stand out a bit. But the thing also with Move is I don't understand, maybe if you play with it, I don't know, but I couldn't like it just makes this character, like you can even see it like it says Move on it.
Oh, I got you.
Like it makes the character for you. It doesn't like make like I don't know what it would be, like a mocap or something. Like I don't know how you can take that motion and put it onto something that you made. Couldn't figure that out. So it just sort of makes this little like robot-y thing for you.
Yeah, it's like you have to transfer the motion from the skeleton to something, but that's like a couple of steps. Like I don't know it off the top of my head how to do that.
I have no idea. So I was just using the little thing that they gave me. But yeah, I liked Blockade. It was a lot of fun. Like you could make this is one of their styles, which is just like pen and ink, basically.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, like I mean, there's a lot of like potential here for stuff, in terms of using Blockade Labs for things. And
I mean, for someone who has like no real experience and spent maybe an hour and a half.
Yeah.
I mean, kind of great.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Couldn't have done this a year ago. Like,
well, I mean, that's the perspective, right? Like we're sort of like, I mean, it's like it feels like we're working with magic, and we're already like, you call that a fireball? Like that's nothing.
I know, right?
You call that mind control? Like whatever.
Yeah. But once like in a week or a month or whatever, when Blockade has this and you can make it an actual like, environment, or however they were saying in their little thing.
Yeah.
Like that would be really cool, so that it actually like interacts, and I could actually like zoom in and move through it. Like right now you can't because it's just like an HD.
We just need like 2 more of those, like with the right moves and some disco diffusion or some AI masking, and you got the AI band. We just need the music, I guess.
That's very true.
Yeah, this is gonna be. Our first set will be a black and white Blockade Labs like thing. Maybe the band will be these robots. I don't know. They don't have to look the same. At least initially.
You could change them. Well, I don't know how you would change them in like a full. Well, I don't know. I guess you could be just like band and then see what happens.
Oh, that's interesting.
And they're just like they're just singing in the desert. Who knows what they're singing about? I don't know.
I'm just gonna randomly DALL-E 3 AI band and see what the hell happens.
Yeah.
Am I logged in? Okay, I gotta log into stuff.
I liked your idea. I think it's too complicated, but I liked your idea of like each character being a different type of AI, like Warp Fusion, Animate Diff, and like that's their name,
Well, wait, we could just have a whole meme factory, right? Like, what did Animate Diff do today? Oh, wah, wah.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm sure someone is going to be working on it. Like, I've seen on TikTok people like doing skits where like they're the different AIs, and then like ChatGPT shows up. But the way this one girl, she'll be like Jarvis and Siri and Alexa,
nice.
And then they'll be like, "Oh, what are you doing?" And then ChatGPT will walk in, and she'll be like, "Oh, just got finished designing a time machine for the president."
Nice.
Just some stuff like that.
That's funny.
Oh man, but yeah, like I guess we'll just see what even next week like sort of brings.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and I guess even speaking of next week, I don't even know what we're necessarily gonna cover. Like, I think
an AI band, unless we think of something else.
Yeah, well, I think we could maybe touch base over the weekend. Like, I'll see what the challenge is from Hive 3. Like, I wanted to do more Animate Diff stuff, but like if I'm being honest, I get a little frustrated by the limitations of it.
It's pretty limited. It's really cool, but it's pretty limited.
Yeah, because like the old school way I would do it is just like an image sequence in ControlNet, but then I would get all the flickering and I'd have to throw that through like a deflickering thing.
Yeah.
But I could just do something as long as I wanted to.
But you can't because you don't have the compute. With your compute too, yeah.
Yeah, well, I have my 3090, but I'm trying to also be more mobile. Like, so I'm just trying to use my laptop more often now.
Yeah.
But I didn't even get a chance to go through the workflow from that image you sent me with the like. How do you feel about Animate Diff now with the last couple of things you were doing?
I mean, I think it's really cool for what it does. I really like its style and stuff too. Like, just as kind of like weird thing that it is, but it's like it just has its own look. Like, it's very specific kind of feel and look, I guess. But I don't know. I guess I've seen some other people that are kind of getting away using it in ways that I haven't been able to figure out. That's interesting.
Well, wasn't there a whole thing with the I forget what it's called, like the QR ControlNet or something? Maybe am I completely misremembering?
There's that. I mean, there's stuff with QR ControlNet that's pretty cool. There's stuff, and like the image, like the video to video is pretty cool, but it's like not, it's still limited. Like, it'll always want to put a face. So like, even if your character is like turns around, it like always wants like a face in front. So like, you'll have like a face, on your head and stuff, which is also like, in one way, it's also like, well, who cares? Like, that's cool.
Right.
Like, part of me really still wants to like allow the imperfections because it's like stuff that you wouldn't necessarily like think. And then it's like, okay, well, if there is this weird imperfection that like always puts a face on the front, then like what would you do to like utilize that? Like a horror maybe or something.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So it's like someone's moving all weird, but it's like their face is like always like on the front of them or, you know, something like that. I don't know.
Didn't Runway recently have like an update that everyone's been talking about? Like it's higher quality. Yeah, I haven't had the chance to really mess with it too much.
It's a little bit better.
Ollie's not on the hype train.
They're taking steps and it's getting better. You know?
Yeah.
They're taking steps and it's getting like cooler.
Right.
Yeah. I haven't played with Runway in a bit either, because I was really into Pika, but I know that part of their stuff that they added, which is actually really cool, is like the expansion and stuff like that, where so like you can make basically do longer takes and like, I don't know because I haven't played with it, but I've seen people who have posted about it being like, you know, you get to the end of your take and then you can basically like expand. It's like a continuation of the first take and stuff like that. So, I mean, that would be a cool thing to play with, I guess. But, you know, that's all really limited too, because it's like, but that's kind of why I really liked the beginning of The Walking Dead.
Why?
Well, I was watching it.
I gotta look this intro up now. Yeah.
Okay, look at like I think it's by like season. I think I'm in season 5, season 4, season 5. I mean, I've liked all of them a little bit, but like because it really reminded me of like. It seemed like an AI thing that someone made in like Runway but like better.
Oh, that's funny that you say that. Oh,
you know, because it's like all of these like short, like 3-second clips that are kind of like telling a world story. You know, it's like, you know, you see like a shot of like you know, like a bloody axe, and then you see like a shot of like, you know, an old car or whatever, and then you see like a shot of like a centipede crawling on like a thing, you know, and it's just really, it just reminded me so much of like
we'll play it.
The kind of thing. Can we play it? Is that allowed, or are we gonna get kicked off? I mean, I guess they can kick off.
I won't. It's muted.
Don't play the music. Yeah.
But actually, you know, it's been a while since I've seen this, but it's really jarring to watch it now because I see exactly what you mean. That
I'm like, this looks like something I see on Twitter every day. Like,
oh God, yeah, no, it's weird because like I'm having a weird feeling watching it now because it's like, you know, you would think, oh, it's Pika or oh, it's Runway.
Yeah, I would be like, oh, this is a Runway.
Yeah, oh, and it's just so weird to feel that way. You know, like I don't know why it's giving me such a like a thing, but it's just like you're right.
And I don't even know if this is the season that I was. Yeah, I guess it has pieces of it. I think the next season is even more so.
Season 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll look up Walking Dead season 5 opening. It is funny too now how sometimes I'll see like
this one specifically. I was like like that first shot of like the weird, and I was like, this is like a freaking
well, you know what's crazy is even if they don't use AI and they made this again, I bet people would be like, why are you using AI? You know, like it's just funny how if you're not into AI stuff, it's kind of like it looks like it's everywhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's I was like, oh, it just looks like what I would make, and then I was like, well, I want to make a little. Like, I mean, it's also got like the music and all this kind of stuff, but I was just like, but it was also interesting experience because I was like, the thing that annoyed me a lot about
it's nothing. You can turn it off. Yeah.
Annoyed me sort of about those things and having the small clips, and I was like, oh, you can't really like tell a story and like But then I was like, but you can really tell a story. Like that opening like really tells a story. And I was like, that's really interesting. And it's like what I've seen I don't know.
Yeah. Well, like, but there's been a couple of like ads that I've seen that, have nothing to do with AI. And for the first 2 seconds, I'm like, oh, is this an AI post?
So many times when I'm scrolling through Twitter and there's like an ad, I'm like, oh, that's like a really good generation.
No, I've done that too. Like sometimes I'm like, oh my God,
it's a Maybelline ad.
Actually, it's funny. So like I recently did some VFX for this short film. Well, I did it like a couple months ago, but it came out on like a screening at one of the AI screenings recently. Like I think Paul Trillo's stuff was there too.
Oh, but cool.
It was some I did some deep fake VFX. So it was like this actress, but like she was transitioning through all these different faces. And so I had to like deep fake and like track them and then morph into like these different things. It was a learning process because I'm not really like a deep fake guy. But I was just like, oh, so I had to like learn it, But actually it's funny, I was talking a little bit with Tom because he's kind of his whole job is like deep fakes right now. With this thing. But shit, why was I bringing that up? Shit, I lost my point.
The video, you're watching the streams. I mean, do you think there was AI? I guess it was AI. We're talking about how everything looks like AI.
Yeah. I remember now. So I posted about it, and I was just like, oh, I did some deep fake VFX, and I thought it's clear that it's just deep fakes, it's VFX. But I had a couple of my friends like, yo, is that like I showed a clip that was like, basically traditional filmmaking, right? Just people on camera. And they're like, was that AI? Oh my God. I'm like, dude, if it was, it would be epic. But no.
That would be,
It was like 2% AI. Yeah. No, and I felt a little embarrassed that I had to explain that. Because you ever have someone come at you like, dude, this is amazing. You're like, actually, it's nowhere near that. I mean, it's amazing for what it was, but they misunderstood it as like this crazier thing.
Yeah.
And
no, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was even listening to someone the other day, we were kind of talking about how it's becoming a thing where people are like, oh, that's AI, or like, oh, they used AI to do that. And they were like, oh, that was like, years ago when they'd be like, oh, it's Photoshop. Oh, that's Photoshop. Photoshop it.
Yeah.
So AI is the new Photoshop.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's interesting too how there's stuff that's just computer graphics, but now it's quote unquote AI, I think one thing, like one of the controversial things is people are concerned about background actors getting replaced. But there's a lot of instances of background actors just being computer graphics. It's not AI, but it's like
someone. I mean, like big with people who do like really like big
like the crowd work
battle
scenes stuff like that.
Yeah. People have been doing.
But I think moving forward, it's going to be called AI now. You know what I mean? Like even if
maybe
it's just plain computer graphics.
Yeah. So because in a way it all sort of incorporates that. I think it's just that computer graphics incorporated a lot of AI before, but it wasn't necessarily like being
it's taking on new meaning. Yeah, for sure. But like no, it is so funny how like when this stuff does get to like photoreal, like cinematic level, no one's gonna know. It's just gonna be like, oh shit, like is this ad like AI or not? And I guess it'll just become invisible. Like I was saying before, it's just gonna be like electricity, right?
Yeah, probably.
No one's gonna. Yeah. We'll bring back NSYNC. We'll bring back Backstreet Boys. No one's gonna know what happened.
I don't want to bring them back. I want the new one.
The new ones.
Yeah, I want like the NSYNC of today. Like we're not gonna like remake them.
Right.
It's like it would just be the equivalent.
Right.
NSYNC. The next boy band. The modern AI boy band.
We'll call them the Next Boys. And it'll be
Next Boys. That's a great one. Yeah.
I'm coming up with all these bands today. Like this is gonna be our whole portfolio. Oh, have you looked into?
Probably already exist. like in
Yeah.
K-pop or something.
Wasn't there something with motion to text or text to motion recently too?
Yeah, I think it's called Motion or something.
Yeah, I want to look that up too.
Yeah,
Motion.
Google that one. I saw some people playing with it.
Man, this is hard to Google apparently. I get annoyed when Google's like, "You didn't actually mean to spell it this way, did you?" I'm like,
Oh, right.
"Yeah, I did."
I don't know if it is Motion. I can probably find it.
I think you're right. Text prompt to 3D character animation with motion.
Motion.
Yeah, yeah. So I guess this is just like is this an app? Like, what is this? Oh wait, these are ads. Well, I guess I'll just. Oh, this is just a tutorial.
Well, does it
After
have a link
Effects.
in the tutorial?
Oh, here it is. Yeah.
There it is.
Okay. Fun little guy dancing. See, you don't even have to dance. You could just twist dance in an empty space, jumping jacks in a fantasy world.
Oh, they put them in a world? Oh, do a test.
Yeah. Unshare me for a second. Let me create an account. And this could be the last thing we do in our 10 minutes spiel. Oh, it's just Discord. Oh, maybe it's a Discord thing.
Oh, it's a Discord.
Okay, join Motion. Oh, all right, hold on. What best describes you, freelancer? Where are you from? North America. Okay, hold on. Why is this a thing? All right, so let's see. Oops. Let's share the Discord. Let's see. Getting started.
Can I share? I'm sharing.
Yeah, that's good. Input motion in the message bar. And well, let's see what everyone else is making.
Yeah.
Okay, run character bot in place true. Oh.
Okay. It's trying.
It's a little slow on the playback. I wonder why that is.
Maybe that's what's happening.
Yeah. Oh, that's weird. You think it would just be a video, right?
Yeah, why isn't it having okay, so motion 1 FBX. Okay, so you can get that, you can download the FBX, you can download the move, you can download. Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I think it just gives you 2, right?
Yeah,
and then you get the FBX and the MOV.
Oh, and you can use different characters. So there's characters.
I guess the MOV would be if you're doing like image to image with like a pose estimator or something. Yeah. Oh, this guy has a character night, so I guess they have certain characters. Hopefully this plays dance and hip hop. I thought it was hip hop Thomas. Oh, that's too bad. Let me download one of these. Well, what happens if I do this? Storage motion. I guess I'll just trust it and hope nothing crazy happens. I'll see what comes up.
We'll see what happens.
Oh, it's downloading. Okay. So I'll see. I'm downloading the MOV.
Okay.
But let's look at a couple of these. Animation of walking.
Is it not working on your screen either?
No, let me try a different creation. Huh, that's interesting. Yeah. I mean, I'm downloading fine. Let me see if that came through. No, it's still downloading. But let's just see. I mean, it'd be nice if these could play back, but Macarena, dancer doing belly dance. I'd love to see if these are like actually doing these more exotic.
I wonder why. Is it because you're sharing it? Try unsharing and see if it starts to work.
Well, let me share it with you because it's just Discord. So
okay.
Yeah. Copy paste into the chat. There you go. And yeah, just sign in and see if it's playing for you on your end.
Motion.
Maybe
I need to do a plan?
I didn't get that. It just asked me to join the Discord.
It didn't ask me to join the Discord.
Let me see. I mean, that's basically the link, right? Did you click on create in Discord?
I haven't even gotten to the Discord thing of it. I went to motion.
So I'm at, I'll give you the actual link that I end up at. Should see that splash page of the dancing night.
Yeah, it really wants me to pick a plan.
Really? What the hell? That's weird.
Wow, it's pulling, yeah, it's making me go to a plan. Active, okay. Create in Discord. Maybe I'll just hit that button. Okay.
Yeah, does that send you to Discord?
What if I just said I'm a software engineer?
Yeah, do it. Is there like an option for being a firefighter or anything?
I don't know. I should.
Yeah, they probably help you out.
Okay, it's working on mine.
Oh, the videos? Oh yeah, so share that. Then I can live vicariously through you.
Yeah. Let's see if it dies when I try to share it. Share my screen. Let me bring this little thing over. Okay, so dance for 5 seconds. All right.
First one's hilarious.
First one's having a little bit of trouble.
Well, you know what? Maybe it's their first day dancing. Maybe they've never danced before.
Dance hip hop.
Oh yeah, I've seen that kind of hip hop. It's definitely hip hop.
Oh no, he just disappeared.
Okay. This is probably going to be our highlight clip.
He's running. Okay, he's running. This guy's running.
Yeah.
No, this guy keeps disappearing on the side. Make a three-hit combo with your sword. Should we do one?
I mean, if you can. I think my internet's being wonky for some reason, even though the stream looks fine.
I don't know what in place true means, but everyone's using it, so. What should we do? And I want character knight, obviously.
Yeah, I wonder, let me look at their FAQ, see if they have other characters.
And then I want to do, I don't know, what do we want them to do? That's the hardest thing to come up with.
Fighting off a zombie, lead singer.
Oh, actually, that's a good one. Lead singer.
Yeah.
Lead singer in a band singing.
Oh, there's a show and tell. I'll look at that.
Awesome song in a microphone. It's not going to be able to do this. I'm doing it too, and I also didn't do a slash anything. Slash motion. Oh, I'm not doing this right. You can do this, and then you have to hit character, and you can choose it. Oh, a cat, a knight, or a Santa.
Santa.
I'll do knight. And then in place is true or false. I don't really know. Oh, I guess if you want him to remain in place. I don't know.
Maybe he'll go off screen. Well, I guess that's when you're downloading. Hey, whoa, Santa looks pretty good.
He's just spinning.
Was that the request? A mouse running in a room. Yeah, he's looking at a mouse running around.
Oh, he's looking at a little mouse running around. I get it. That works.
At least that's how I think the AI interpreted it.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, so let's just go with that.
This is someone hanging. I don't know what's going on here. I'm going to do another one. This could take forever. Generating 10%. And then I'll do one that's a zombie because I'm watching a lot of zombies.
I suspect maybe, like, I wonder what they used to train, but I'm looking at a show and tell one that is, it's got some breakdancing and capoeira. It's pretty impressive, actually. But, you know, I wonder how this overlaps potentially with Mixamo. But the thing with Mixamo is I don't think they're upgrading it anymore or updating it anymore.
They're not updating it anymore?
Yeah, I think it's
the thing that which is really interesting now that I don't like about things like Mixamo is I'm like, well, it's finite. And like other people are using the same motions. And I don't want to be like other people.
Yeah, well, I mean, but that's what I mean. Like it it was a couple of years ago that I think they stopped updating it. You know what I mean? Like, but they just left it up because it was like valuable to people, and I don't know. I guess someone's eating the cost of the servers and stuff. But yeah, if they were continuing to update it, I think it would be a very different thing. But I don't think it has any support still.
Yeah.
Or are you watching the
Yeah,
the showcase?
this.
They had a capoeira one that was pretty cool.
So I guess this is a swimming.
Yeah, fun swimming ones. Yeah, check out the dancing one. Motion meets Kyber AI, so I guess they use Kyber on top of it.
Okay.
Yeah, that first one.
Okay.
Yeah, see,
He's
that's
doing
pretty
a
complicated.
thing.
Yeah, it's living its life.
He's doing a thing. Kind of works.
I do think
I kind of like it. I don't know. It's super cute, this one.
No, look, he's got some rhythm in his hips. He's got some hip rhythm.
Yeah.
Well, it's 11.
Yeah. Hold on. Let's see what my creation.
Oh yeah, did your thing come up?
This is my lead singer. Hey, this guy's I don't know why this guy's.
Well, he's Irish. He's doing a jig.
This guy's singing. He
Yeah,
looks
look
like
at him.
he's like. That's great. I like it. Looks like he's singing, and this guy is.
Well, now we know where we're gonna get our band animations.
Oh no! This guy didn't succeed in fighting off the zombie. He just died.
Well, sometimes it works out that way.
Yeah, it's the red shirt. This guy's just waiting. He's waiting.
You know what'd be interesting with this is an image-to-image version of it. Yeah, could you imagine though if you uploaded like a video and use that as like a reference with your text, kind of like
that could work.
Yeah, and then like just act it out. Oh, that is interesting. Maybe we should. Maybe I'll look into this more, and maybe that's our next challenge. I don't know. There's so many things we could do next week.
I know that's a hard thing. We're in a moment of like too much.
Yeah, too much stuff.
Too much stuff.
Right.
We'll figure it out. This is fun though. I'm glad we caught up on some stuff. I like this little motion. He's singing and he's skipping. I love it. All right.
Yeah, it seems like the natural next step for something like Mixamo. You know, like what comes after it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This works. All right, cool. Well, it was great chatting. It was great chatting with you.
Yeah, and, congratulations on the job.
And we will. I'm going to go back and do a little bit more work.
Oh, okay. More Australia time. Okay.
Which is crazy.
Good times.
But it's good times.
All right. Check you later.
Yeah. Hit me up this weekend and we'll pick something for next week.
We'll figure it out. All right. Peace out.
Peace out.